It's a rare sight when you see a girl in an anime or manga looking at a Yuri Dojin instead of a Yaoi Dojin. It's just, out of countless series I have watched and read, you don't see that often. You really don't. And that really just threw me for a loop when I saw Yuzu just looking at a Yuri Dojin and all that about sisters. I'm like, whoa, this series is, laying it on thick with its themes when it comes to that, and I mean, I'm very happy that this series isn't, in fact, Yuri bait, because that was my biggest concern with the series when I first started it, because I've just seen so many series when it comes to, like, a Yuri tag or whatever, and it just doesn't go anywhere, but it does seem like this series will be focusing on that, and it's rare, and so I do hope this turns out to be a really good quality romance. It's just, that's my personal thoughts, not being a reviewer, just my personal thoughts. I do hope that this turns out to be a very good series, because as a person that loves romance series, and it's very rare to come across, a good Yuri series, I do hope that this is really good, and one of the best of Winter of Anime 2018. But anyways, with that being said, this is the third episode of Citrus. So this will be the make it or break it episode for many. For instance, if you follow the 3-episode rule, this will determine if you will continue to watch the series or if you will drop this series. And I can see why many might not like the series. I've already kind of discussed certain reasons why in my previous review, my last week episode 2 review. I discussed that some elements of the way the Yuri is done, it does feel like a plot device and not really true romance or anything, and it can feel a little bit awkward for some. I did talk about it, but besides that, it is a pretty enjoyable series, and I can see why many would want to continue it, because like I said, it's not Yuri bait, and if you are coming here for Yuri, then obviously you're getting what you want. So, yeah, I mean, let me know your thoughts. Are you going to continue watching, or are you going to, drop the series? Please be honest in the comments below if you like it or dislike it. Just give me some good reasons for it. For me, being a person that loves romance and really loves the Yuri tag, this series is amazing for me. This episode was it was like that grade A, like that quality on top of a good pizza, that good topping. That's what this was. I'm like, man, I cannot get enough of this anime, because the spice of this series is just it's just right. It's just right. It's perfect. And I'm like, I need more. I need more. I'm actually half tempted to read the manga. I'm not even joking. I am half tempted. I have heard, apparently, there is some things being cut from this anime. I don't know exactly what, probably for censorship reasons if I had to assume anything. But I might start reading the manga just because I like the series. I do. Regardless if it turns into a pile of mess or not many like it, I do like what I have seen so far, and I might start reading the manga just because of how it is. But, this episode had so many good moments for me personally, and it really kind of focuses and dials in on the Yuzu and Mei relationship. And that's technically been kind of the main plot line of the series since the first episode. So, Yuzu finally has her emotions. She finally confesses to Mei. Like, Mei, you've made me very confused. I am gay for you. That's pretty much what she said to Mei at the end of the episode. She forces Mei down, kisses her and all that, and like, you made me very confused. Why'd you have to do that? Why'd you have to kiss me? And now she's just really conflicted with her feelings. She doesn't know how to feel at all. And you can see where Mei is starting to realize what, Yuzu is starting to feel, or how she feels now. And you can see how she was very conflicted at the end of the episode. And so, I do like how this episode had that gradual build-up to where Yuzu's feelings inside, they were just getting, more and more raging as it went on. She just continuously was constantly questioning herself, and, she was starting to slowly get these feelings where she knew she was in love with Mei, and she just didn't know how to speak with her. She didn't know how to get, Mei to actually communicate with her. She tried anything in her power to try to basically get her feelings out there, and finally she just couldn't hold it back any longer, and she just, basically burst out and explained that she does, in fact, love Mei quite a bit. And I'm like, whoa. Like, whoa, that's a really, fiery way to reveal your feelings, I do wonder if Mei is going to kind of return those, and if she's going to say anything, or if they're going to be kind of awkward around each other for the upcoming episodes. I have no idea what to expect, but that's what I'm going to assume is going to happen, judging by how romance is done usually. Most likely there's going to be some form of awkward, like, situation between Mei and Yuzu, and Mei might not want to communicate with her at all, because she doesn't even know how she feels either. For all we know, maybe Mei does have feelings for Yuzu. That would be some crazy stuff. What if, the reason why Mei acts, like, so indifferent towards Yuzu is because maybe she has feelings for her? That would be some crazy stuff if that actually was a thing. But, anyways, though, there was some certain scenes in this episode that need to be talked about. Number one, that scene when Yuzu was looking at the Yuri Dojin, when she was reading it and all that, and eventually, Harumin, that's how you say it, Harumin, she was sitting there, like, on the computer, and she looks around like, what are you reading? And she grabs the Yuri Dojin that, Yuzu's reading, looks at it, and she starts to get into a position from the Dojin with Yuzu, and I'm like, Haru, like, whoa, like, whoa, like, whoa, like, she literally was the embodiment of this phrase. It's not gay if it's your friend, and if you say no homo. That's pretty much what that scene was. I'm like, okay, Harumin, you laying it on thick for Yuzu. I have a sinking feeling, a sinking suspicion that Harumin might actually have feelings for Yuzu. Something's telling me that. Something's telling me that she might have some form of feelings, or she might develop feelings. Since this is a bona fide Yuri romance manga, obviously, we already see it going on, I could definitely see them throwing more romantic love interest into the mix, and I could definitely see Harumin being that potential love interest besides Mei, which Mei is the main girl, obviously, and when it comes to romance series, you need to have, like, another person that, slows down the plot or has conflict or drama, and I can see Harumin being that type of character that could possibly slowly start falling in love with Yuzu, and maybe Yuzu gets conflicted as well, and she doesn't know who she wants to be with. Something like that could be potentially possible, especially after that scene. You just don't casually do something like that and reenact something from a Yuri Dojin, and that just is, being swept under the rug. There's something else going on there. There had to be more going on there that we're unaware of, and I just truly believe that maybe Harumin likes Yuzu in some way. I believe so. So, anyways, besides that, let's also talk about the situation with the school. So, as we know, Yuzu, she got expelled in the last episode. Thanks to all her antics and how she handled the grandpa and all that, the chairman of the school, or, principal of the school, she got expelled, and obviously it makes a lot of sense for why. I mean, the way she acted in some ways, it would get you expelled, and she actually managed to get that revoked to where she can go back to school, and the reason for that is because she actually saved the grandpa. When she was in there, she went into the school and all that, and she was actually going to speak to him like, hey, you need to take back, expelling me. She finds him on the floor, and the man's, like, in some form of critical condition. We don't know exactly what was going on. It wasn't really explained. I do hope eventually that is dived in. It's just not one thing that pops up. I do hope that is a critical plot point for a future arc of the series, because obviously the grandpa has some form of health issues, especially to be in the hospital. So I do wonder exactly what it is, and I do hope that is something that is brought up eventually. But for now, though, thanks to Yuzu being a very compassionate person and caring, she saved the man, and the man decides to pay her back by, allowing her to go back to school. Now, once all that is done, Yuzu obviously shows that she is changing a little bit. She is no longer being as, I guess, bright and shiny like she was in the first and second episode. She actually is starting to follow the dress code, and she had many different hairstyles throughout this episode, which, I want to talk about that for a second. It's very, very fascinating to see a character constantly change their hairstyles. It's something you don't see often in, like, anime and manga, because when it comes to an artist, when they're, designing a character, sometimes it can be relatively rough trying to design a new hairstyle in maybe one chapter, like a bunch of different hairstyles in one chapter, or, in a couple of chapters and all that. It's really hard to remember, and so I do appreciate the fact that Yuzu had so many different hairstyles throughout this episode, because that takes some dedication to be able to just change your hairstyle up, keep it consistent throughout the scenes, and then change it once again and remember what you changed it to. I like that type of stuff, and I really liked how she had different hair design and all that throughout this episode, and also her clothing as well. Just props to, the main author and writer and artist and all that of, this series to be able to do something like that. I thought that was really cool. Just a little tidbit of this episode that I truly appreciated. But nonetheless, though, with all that thrown to the side, the episode overall, it was a good episode. It had its great moments, but I could see why many might not like the series because of how it is. If you're not a big fan of Yuri, or if you don't like where the story is going, obviously you should probably stop now if you don't like it so far, because I think what we've been getting these past 3 episodes is basically what the series is going to be about. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to end it here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about the series. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? And are you going to continue watching it? Are you going to drop it? And I love you guys. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. Now, to quickly do an FYI if you're unaware of it, for some reason, some of you Chibits have been having some issues with the bell icon, even though many of you have clicked it. Some of you are telling me in the comments and all that, and on Twitter, that even though you've clicked it, you don't get notifications sometimes, or sometimes you get notifications 30 minutes to maybe a full day late. Now, if that is happening to you, I don't really know exactly how the bell icon works, like, completely. I do know it's supposed to be, like, you get notified for everything, but I would recommend unclicking it and click it again, and there might be an additional setting in accounts or something for the bell icon. I have no idea. I haven't actually really explored that, but I'm just doing a brief FYI, so even if you don't do it for me, at the very least, do it for YouTubers you care about, check it out, and make sure you get notified for the YouTubers that you do want to watch. So, I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.